Welcome to the story of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, like you've never heard it before.
This story isn't told to you by the one Dragonborn that masters all, but told to you through the eyes of many different characters.
From soldiers in the Civil War seeking peace and order,
to seeking freedom and to remove the weakness from her lands.
From those cursed by the night, seeking to be the vigil in the darkness.
To warriors seeking honor, glory, and companionship.
To a shapeshifter and worshipper of the Daedra who seeks to live a life as a warrior.
To a mage seeking power and the arcane knowledge of Aetherius.
To assassins seeking fear and bringing the cold touch of Sithis.
To thieves seeking wealth beyond measure.
We all hope you enjoy
this story
of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
Episode 7, The Heart's Betrayal.
I was able to convince Sigund to come to Solitude with me. It's hard to believe she has never been inside Solitude, not even as a girl. I've grown to enjoy her company. She's fun, I guess. She's always trying to rile me up. But I think that's her way of being friends. These Nords have a weird sort of way of being friendly. The more they like you, the more reasons they give you for wanting to kill them. I've grown to appreciate her. She stood up for me in Whiterun. Truth be told, I don't know if I would have done that if I was in her position. It's strange. I feel closer to her than I have to any of my own with the war. I feel like I know what she's thinking. It's like we're thinking the same things. We're always on the same page. Even on the war. I feel conflicted. I would never say this out loud, but I feel their cause is justified. I thought we were the good guys, that we were here to free everyone and lead Tamriel into better days. But I've seen the horrible things we've done in this war. Even the things I've done. I've killed young Nords begging for mercy because I saw them as rebel scum.
Look, I think I should go back to Dragonbridge. I have a bad feeling about this. This isn't a good idea at all.
Nonsense. You're already here. Nothing is going to happen to you, Sigund. There is a truce on. No Imperial will touch you, or even get close to you if you're beside me.
I never imagined I'd be here like this, walking around Imperial soldiers. I've always imagined I'd be here with my sister, besieging the city. That when I saw it, I'd be fighting to free Solitude of you Imperials.
Well, I hope not. I moved my daughter here because living in Whiterun was too risky with the war, and that ended up being the right call since you besieged it.
But I didn't besiege Whiterun. I freed it. Very big difference. I didn't want to kill the people we were meant to be freeing from the Empire.
Who knows what happens after all this? Maybe after Ragni kills Alduin, maybe all this war might end. That we might find peace in our unification.
Do you truly believe that? That we could find peace? I'll be honest, the idea pleases me. An end to all the death, it would be nice.
I can only hope. I'm tired of this war. Hopefully Tullius and Ulfric will rethink the bloodshed after all of this. Seeing us fight together might change things. Let's just keep this thought to ourselves. Any of our own hear us talking like this, they'll think we're both traitors. Anyway, let's get into Solitude. Just stay close and we'll be fine in there.
All set. Let's go.
Like I said, we're always thinking the same thing. I'm kind of relieved that she is tired of this war. When this all started, I wanted to be nowhere else but in battle, killing rebels, earning myself a name. And I did that. But I guess over time I just got tired of losing people, watching people die in horrific ways, wondering when my time would be. I've just grown tired of all the death, all the killing. It's my hope once all this is done, that somehow Ulfric and Tullius can sit down again and sort something out. By the 8, I wouldn't even care if the East was allowed to become independent of the Empire. But I know better than to think Tullius would even allow it, and that Ulfric would settle for just the East. I wish for peace. But after this, I fear we'll be killing each other again. There's a part of me that hopes the Dragonborn doesn't kill Alduin, that we just stay here forever. This war with the dragons feels like the right one at least. For the first time, I feel like what I'm doing is right.
Wow, this place is big. Kinda reminds me of Windhelm with its towering walls. It's a little quiet though. Feels a little vast but empty.
This place is nothing like Windhelm. It's not freezing and it's got actual greenery. As for there being nobody around, that's because everyone is working or in the inn. The only time this place is busy is when somebody is losing their head. I'd know. I used to guard the prisons and guard the executions. The last execution I guarded was some Solitude guard that let Ulfric escape the city after he murdered the High King.
He didn't murder the High King. Those are Imperial lies. He challenged Torrig to a duel, and the Emperor's puppet king lost. He wasn't strong enough to defend himself, he's not strong enough to lead Skyrim. That is why the East calls Ulfric Skyrim's true High King. Because he defeated him in honorable combat, which is a Nord tradition, and he won, becoming Skyrim's true High King. Like how it was done in the old days.
Look, I didn't mean anything by it. I wasn't trying to rub it in. It's just how we see it, I guess. Look, it doesn't matter. Let's just move on, shall we?
Sorry, it just makes a lot of us angry about the lies the Empire has spread about Ulfric. I didn't mean to get angry at you. Okay, where are we going?
Well, we can do the Bard's College. But I think we should wait for Ragni with that one since she was a bard there. There's the Blue Palace if they let you. And my home here in Solitude.
Okay then, you lead the way. I'll stay close, my Imperial protector. I can't wait to meet this Luca you've always talked about.
Getting her into the Blue Palace might be a tricky one. I have her around here like she's a tourist, but she's a Stormcloak soldier. This has to be one of the craziest things I've done. Walk a damn Stormcloak through Solitude. Look at the size of that one. These Nords, they're built different. Their women are built like men. In saying that, I'm not saying Sigund looks like a man. She's actually rather beautiful. She's a big woman, though. Skyrim does make its people strong. Can't be weak and survive this place. Anyway, I'm going to show her my home here, and then try for the Blue Palace. Okay, this one is my home. It's roomy and a good place for my daughter to grow up. If I die, it's all hers. She'll never have to live on the streets ever again.
What in the nine? This place is massive. That Imperial Vanguard pay must be really good if you can afford to buy a home like this.
I didn't pay anything for this. It was given to me from... I'll tell you all about this later, in private. Let's go check out the Blue Palace. Good chance they won't let you in. But maybe if you give your weapons up, they might let you in.
My weapons. They can't take my weapons, Senturos, because I am the weapon. It's no matter. Let's not waste our time. I wouldn't let an Imperial into the Palace of Kings. Let's just do what we set out to do and see your daughter. Then we'll wait for the Dragonborn.
She's right. I shouldn't even bother with the palace, seeing how the Jarl hates Stormcloaks for killing her husband. Maybe I'm just getting a little over myself here. Should just keep to the plan. Go and see Luca. It's been so long that I don't even remember the last time I saw her. Be nice to spend the night home with her. Might have to get Jordis's room ready for Sigund if she is staying the night.
Bloody hell. You live like a king in here. Do you really need all of this stuff? Who looks after this place and keeps it clean while you're gone? Not your child, I hope.
Of course not. Not just going to leave my kid to live on her own. I hired a servant. She's young but raising her own little sister. So I thought she'd be a good fit and a friend for Luca to be around. She should be around here somewhere. There she is. Larissa, come here and meet our new guest for the night.
Guest for the night? Senturos, I can't stay at your... This isn't... appropriate. I'm a Stormcloak. It will look bad for you. And me.
Why? You let me sleep at yours after all. Since, as you say, Breeze home is yours. So you can stay the night here. It'll be safer that way. There's a room downstairs that my housecarl takes. But she's not here, so it's yours for the night.
Greetings, my Thane. Welcome back home. What can I do for you?
Whereabouts is Luca? Didn't see her on our way in. And also, this will be our guest for the night. This is Sigund. I'm going to need you to prepare Jordis's room for her, and we'll be having 2 more guests tonight.
Luca would be in the Temple of the Divines. She's taken a liking to one of the priestesses there. She's been teaching her all about the 8 divines. She should be back soon. Anyway, it's nice to meet you, my lady. Let me show you to your room. Then I must get prepared for the dinner tonight.
So Luca has taken an interest in the gods. Nice. If she was to grow up as a priestess, that wouldn't be a bad thing. At least her life would be one of peace. I wouldn't have to worry about her following in my footsteps and joining the Legion. Even more so with the next war that is no doubt around the corner with the Dominion. As a priestess, she'd be a healer and teacher, looking after the poor and healing the sick. Yes, I like that. She's always healed me after long campaigns. Seeing her always makes me forget about the things I've seen out there. Might be time for a shave. Been a while since I've felt clean. By the 8, it's good to be back home again. That feels better. While I've been shaving, I can hear Larissa and Sigund down there. What are they talking about?
So Larissa, how did you come to work for Senturos? Do you happen to know his real name by any chance?
His real name? I found the job on a notice board in Cheydinhall. My parents had died in a house fire, and it was just me and my sister left. The pay looked good, and so I left Cyrodiil to come here. It worked out quite nicely, because he wanted me and my sister to stay here. Because of his daughter Luca. It's good pay, and my sister has a roof over her head and a friend. And he's always been good to me.
You left Cyrodiil to come to a war-torn country to be a house servant?
Didn't have much of a choice. I was only 17 and our parents were gone. I either took the job or I don't really even want to think about it. I now need to raise my sister, and here is a better place than most.
I'm sorry about your loss. You've done what you've had to for your sister, as have I. You're strong because you need to be, and lucky you landed in the service of Senturos, for I found him to be an honorable man.
Any sign of Luca yet? And what are you two talking about? I swear I heard my name walking down the stairs. What are you two up to?
What have you done to your face? You look like one of us now.
One of us? Are you saying I look like a woman? I'm sorry, Sigund. I'm not overly fond of looking like a two-legged mammoth like Nordmen.
A beard is what makes a man great. His beard is part of his manhood. Cutting away your beard is like cutting off your balls.
By the gods, I take you into my home, and you try and cut me deep. Who's the terrible guest now?
My lord, you look handsome, as always.
You see that, Sigund? That's how you treat somebody.
Phew, she's only sucking up because she has to. You did look quite handsome with that hair you had. On the plus side, now that you look like a woman, my sister would like you.
If that's not a sign from the gods to grow a beard, then I don't know what is. Your sister would rather drink with Molag Bal than an Imperial. Anyway, I'm going to the Temple of Divines to see Luca. You can come along, but I don't want you destroying the place because they don't allow the worship of Talos.
I can't promise you anything. They should just call it the Temple of the Faithless. Let's get going then.
The Nords and their gods. Take away one of their dearly worshipped and they take you to war for it. What in the 8? What are the Penitus doing here?
The who? What's a Penitus?
The Penitus Oculatus, the Emperor's personal guard. If they're here, that means the Emperor is here. But we would have definitely heard that by now, so he must be on his way.
Those Penitus Oculatus look like you. The Emperor is coming here? Is he crazy? There are bloody dragons about. And us.
I have no idea, but I guess we'll find out later what in Oblivion is happening here. Anyway, the Temple of Divines is over there. We don't want to stay out here for too long.
Not wrong. There's a bloody Thalmor over there, and it feels unnatural not sticking my blade into its guts. Keeps looking at me like that, and I'll have to gut it like a fish.
Don't let me stop you. The treaty is for the Imperials and Stormcloaks. You'd be doing us a favor. Just make sure nobody is looking when you do it. If we didn't see it, it never happened. 2 chairs. Must be a wedding going on soon if those are out. I wonder if this has anything to do with... No, he wouldn't waste his time coming here for that. Now time to find my daughter. Like I said before, I'm kind of glad she's taking a liking to the Divines. Much safer life than mine. Until you're one of those that tell Sigund Talos is outlawed, then you're in trouble. There she is, my little girl. By the 8, I've missed her. Hello there, Luca. As soon as I called her name, I never seen her move so fast. She turned around and looked right at me with a shocked look on her face, and then she just smiled and ran at me like a warring hound. I've missed her in these months. If there's one good thing I've done on Mundus, it's taking her in. I know one day she'll pay this back to the world.
She really loves him. I can see why. When I first laid eyes upon him, I saw him as a disgusting Imperial. But I don't know. I've never met anybody like him. Anybody with his heart. He's done nothing but good for me, and asked for nothing in return. He brought my sister back, and his shield has guarded me from dragonfire. I've really started to enjoy being around him.
Sigund! Sigund, are you in there? Oi, are you alive in there? Bloody hell, woman. Where are you? You're in the right place if your head's in the clouds with the gods.
Yes. Sorry, I was, just reflecting on the 9. What's the matter?
Reflecting on the 9. Must have been reflecting pretty hard. For a minute we thought you had joined them. Bloody hell. Anyway, this is Luca, my daughter. And Luca, this is Sigund Bear-Claw, mighty warrior of the Stormcloaks, mighty defender of the Dragonborn, and a great friend.
Hello, Luca. I've heard a great many things about you. And seeing you for the first time, they must all be true. It's a pleasure to meet you.
You're quite nice for a traitor. Father says you're all a bunch of blood-crazed barbarians who only want to kill people. You seem quite nice for one of them.
It's all true, of course. But only during Fridas and Sundas. Every other day we're nice.
I'm not a religious guy, but after that, I think I should pray to the 8. Luca, my dearest, you're grounded. Let's get home before you get me in any more trouble. Damn, that was close. I forgot how honest children can be. Thank Zenithar she took that well. Well, we better get back home, and I guess we'll wait for Ragni to arrive. She knows where I live, after all. This is what we're all fighting for, so kids can run around the city without fear of dragons. A much better fight to be in, instead of who sits on the damn throne. Gods, it feels good to be back. It just feels better being here, not worried about dragons or long marches, not knowing what we're walking into. Can just relax and enjoy my time. Wait, is that Marillia?
Senturos Gavianis, I was surprised to find out you were here in Solitude. And I was even more surprised when I was told you were with a Stormcloak traitor. And then I was told it's the whore who sent me to Windhelm that turned me into this. How dare you bring that filth into Solitude? Your job was simple. Make friends with the Dragonborn, not this traitor. You sat down beside me once in the Temple of the Divines and swore those responsible would pay for what they did to me. And that bitch behind you is the one who sent me to Windhelm to be some prize for Ulfric and his men. Her and her whore sister are the reason why I was tortured, raped, and starved. What happened to me was because of them, and they will pay for it. With their lives, very painfully and slowly.
You call me a whore? That's rich from the whore of Windhelm herself. How many Stormcloaks went through you, Marillia? You'll pay for what you did to Brianna. I'll tear that other eye of yours out, and rip out your tongue, and feed you to the pigs.
Ha! If I'm the whore of Windhelm, you should have seen your sister. For the short time she was here, I made sure that the 5th Legion had their time with her. They found her pale skin and red hair a delight. And that eye of hers, well, I took that personally. An eye for an eye after all. I took great pleasure in watching it all.
I'm going to rip your spine out, you dog.
That is enough. I will not have this in my house or around my daughter. I swore I'd make them pay for what they did. But what you did to Brianna was monstrous, and that's on me for sending her back as a prisoner, to face punishment, not for your sick little revenge. You let what happened to you in Windhelm twist you into something horrible. The Marillia I met was a good soldier, a confident warrior. Now all that's left is her shadow. You've outweighed your welcome. It's time for you to leave, Marillia.
You'd defend a traitor over me? Wow, it must be true. You truly have turned blue. What's next after all of this? You'll start wearing the bear now? You're no longer worthy to wear that armor. You dishonor the Vanguard.
How dare she? I earned this armor. I was forged in battle. Money and her name didn't buy me my place amongst the Vanguard, and to come into my home and try and start something right in front of my daughter. Then to question my loyalty. If I was blue, she'd be surrounded by red. Are you all right, Luca? Don't worry about any of that. You're safe here, okay? Now I need you to go and tidy up for me, okay? Because we're going to be having some guests later on. Someone really special. The Dragonborn is coming here, and she told me she's excited to meet you. So before she arrives, you better go and clean up your room, so she knows you're a good girl.
Wow! The Dragonborn is coming here to meet me? Okay, Papa. I'll go and clean up my room. I can't wait to meet her.
Sigund, are you all right? I'm terribly sorry about that. She's always had access into my home. I didn't know she was going to be here.
No, I'm not okay. I need to be alone for a moment. Where can I go without anybody disturbing me? I need to be alone, or I'm going to do something I shouldn't.
Out the door, down the stairs, then take a right under the archway. It will lead to a little spot behind my home, with a nice view and fresh air. If you need anything, I'll be here.
Serana and I made our way back to Castle Volkihar. When we arrived, she told me she had to go and see her mother alone. So while she was gone, I thought I'd walk around the castle. I can remember the first time I was here like it was yesterday. Serana had convinced me to take her home after I found her in Dim Hallow Crypt. What I didn't know at the time was she used a calm spell on me, so that I would bring her here. If she didn't, I would have tried to kill her, and even at her state, I don't think I would have stood a chance. When I arrived with her, my head cleared of her spell, and I saw absolute evil. It was utterly disgusting. The smell, the suffering, people being bled dry by those monsters. Harkon, their leader, offered me a choice, become a lion or remain a sheep. I refused his offer, and for finding his daughter, he would show me mercy by allowing me to leave alive, which would become his greatest mistake. Worshippers of Molag don't show mercy, they dominate. And in failing to do this, much later on, the lion met the dragon, and he was turned to ash. And all of the Volkihar clan was wiped out. Apart from Serana, of course, since she decided to do the right thing and fight for the side of life. Being in these halls now, it's hard to believe all the evil they suffered, all the horrible things that happened in here over the centuries. And how peaceful it is now. For the first time in thousands of years, these halls remain silent, unburdened by the evil that lived here. All those thousands who were murdered here now can rest in peace, knowing the monsters that killed them are no more, and no more will join them. I've always wondered, though, what would have happened if things were different, if I walked a different path, if the events of my childhood played out differently? Would I have accepted Harkon's offer and become a monster? I fear to think of what I would have become as a vampire, the death I would bring, the suffering, the evil I would bring to Skyrim. The power I would have wielded as a vampire dragonborn, that I would have abused this power and brought all of Skyrim to its knees. None would have been able to stop me. Everyone who would try would die. I would have completed Harkon's prophecy of darkening the sun and stolen the light from all of Tamriel. I wouldn't have shown any mercy. I would have become a greater evil than Alduin himself. Alduin would be the only thing to stop me if I chose that path. That Alduin would have been the one that people called out to save them. But thankfully I did not choose that path. Every day I'm reminded why I fight. For life, for Serana, for the people who follow me, for those who can't fight, for anything that is still good in this world. That's why I fight. It's why I fought Harkon, and it's why I'm fighting Alduin. Might go look around the castle. I don't know how long Serana is going to be, but she said she wanted to see her mother alone. So I might as well wander around this castle and see how those vampires lived. This was Harkon's room, the lord of these vampires. No doubt after we killed him, everything of worth was sacked by the Dawn Guard. That looks like Minerva's dagger. She said hers was a dragon priest's. This must be it. An old dragon priest dagger. Quite a rare find. Why did Harkon have one? Let's go and see where this lord rested his head. A dragon priest dagger and staff. And I saw one of those molds at Labyrinthian with Minerva. They were Dragon Priest mask molds. Serana was around when dragons flew the skies. So Harkon was a king. Wait, was he a dragon priest? And when Alduin fell, he gave his service to Molag Bal. By the Nine, Harkon was a damn dragon priest. Minerva tells me the dragons weren't all out evil towards the men and women that worshipped them. Minerva says that it wasn't the dragons that turned the people against them, but their priests, who became too power-hungry and became tyrants. The only people the dragons would talk to were their priests, who would follow their interests. The dragons didn't really care for mortals unless they did what they wanted them to. And those who were under the boot of the dragon priest couldn't really tell the dragons, so they fought back against the priests, and the dragons saw that as a fight against their rule. Ah, disgusting. Anyway, the ancient dragon wars broke out because men had had enough of the priest's control of them and the dragons that did nothing. And eventually, the final battle where Alduin was sent forward in time to us. Once he was gone, dragons went out on their own, abandoning the mortals that still worshipped them, and killing any other dragons that entered their territories. Then the Akaviri arrived and started hunting them into extinction. I've heard that there were dragons in Elsewhere 1,000 years ago, and a dragon that allied itself with Tiber Septim during his conquest. But that dragon was killed by the Redguard hero Cyrus. No doubt many more left Skyrim when Alduin was defeated, and that might be where he has gone, across Tamriel to find their bodies, or wherever they are hiding if still alive. You can learn a lot when on the roads with an elf that knows history like it's the back of her hand. She's now moved on to the War of the Red Diamond, an imperial civil war started by Potema Septim at the time. Turns out she almost came back a year ago or so, but Cecilia had stopped her while she was in Solitude. Thank the Nine she was there. Having a mad undead dragonborn that turned her city into an army of the dead would have been a nightmare with the war going on. But back to the point. Harkon must have been one of these priests and fled as soon as Alduin was no more, and then threw himself in the service of another great evil. Serana has told me that he wasn't always bad, that there was a time when he was a loving father. I don't know, maybe she was just a girl and loved her dad, before she was old enough to understand what evil was. A loving father would not hand over his daughter to be brutally raped and killed by a Daedric prince. Even more so when 80% of those who take the ritual don't survive. Then to use her as a weapon. To send her all over Skyrim to be used as a weapon to seduce people, murder them, or whatever. For hundreds or thousands of years to use your daughter like that is just plain evil. If I fail in killing Alduin, and he gets me, I'll die knowing I turned that monster to ashes, that I put that filth down, and now he's the slave of Molag Bal. That for all eternity he will suffer Molag's wrath. Now Serana said the door to Valerica's study was... Nope, definitely not that way. Now Serana's here to see her mother. Now Valerica did help us, only because she didn't want Harkon to succeed in his plans. Though I did feel like Valerica loved Serana. But at the same time, what mother would let this happen to her child? If I was to have a daughter, I would never let anything like that happen to her. I'd do everything in my power to make sure she lived a long and happy life. Maybe times were tough back then in Skyrim. And being part of the dragon cult after Alduin's fall would have had everyone wanting to take your head off. Maybe Valerica did this to make sure Serana wouldn't have been killed by the free men. Maybe to make sure she would be strong and could protect herself. But was it really worth the price? I guess it was, at least for me. If she died during her time, I would have never met her and fallen in love with her, and I would have missed out on learning so many things. Wow, is this going to fall apart when I'm in here? This doesn't feel safe. Now, like I was saying, if I never met Serana, I wouldn't have learned that life wasn't so black and white. I thought vampires were utter evil, that all of them deserved the fire. But then I met her. I hated her, but there was a part of me that thought she was decent after she came to help us against her own father. Regardless of my feelings, I knew it took a lot of strength to turn against her family and her kind to do the right thing. And then I became a vampire to survive oblivion. Speaking of which, it was in that very room across the bridge where I became a vampire. Serana would be in there with her mother right now, so I'll just wait out here until she is done. Right here was where I first felt the sting of the sun when I returned to Tamriel as a vampire. Somehow hours in there had been months here in Tamriel, and when I arrived, I would be tested beyond my ability. It was then I understood why vampires were what they were. It was then I appreciated Serana because she had the strength I didn't to do good with what she was. Vampires weren't evil. They were desperate people burdened with a dark curse. Some fall to it, and others like Serana overcame it and used it for good, like Cecilia. When she saved me from becoming a monster, it was then my eyes really opened, and I saw her for what she was. Someone special. Someone who really cared about me. Nobody had made me feel loved like that. You don't know until it's there staring you in the eyes. I always imagined myself marrying a man and raising a family out in the Rift. Life is crazy sometimes. Now I just have to wait for Serana. Please don't take too long, my dear. Not all of us are immortals. After an hour of waiting, she came out upset. I just sat there and listened. About how their reunion didn't go so well. That all of what they went through together still lingers in their lives. She did mention that they have agreed to start writing letters, but I'm to know nothing about it because her mother doesn't trust me at all. That is fair. I was, well, still am a Dawnguard hunter, but if it helps Serana, I'll leave this to her and her mother. On the plus side, it's time to go and have our date, so that should lighten up the mood. We found a nice little quiet spot not too far away. It was a little cold, but that's to be expected with the north. Even during the summer, it can still make your bones rattle.
Just standing on the ocean shore. It was my favorite pastime, back on the island. Whenever my father was not in the best mood, I'd run outside and sit by the castle shores, look into the distant horizon. The vastness of the open sea kind of reminds me that my problems may not be the biggest thing in the grand scheme of things. Because there I was, just another little dot on that small island. Hey, I just want to enjoy this moment here with you, us, by the beach, in front of these ocean waves. Just to reflect how far we've gone, how far we've traveled. Through the thick and thin, through all the circumstances. A vampire and a vampire hunter. Two people that would normally be at each other's throats, now enjoying drinks and kisses by the beach. Yearning to spend more of the future with each other. Don't say anything. Just let me talk. I have some thoughts I'd like to let out. I'm so proud of our relationship and how it progressed, despite all odds, both external and internal. I love you. I really do. In the 1,000 years I've walked on Nirn, you are the best thing that's happened to me. Here's to the future, and whatever it may hold. We go through this, and we go through it together.
What she said meant the world to me. It's hard to put into words just how important Serana is for me. That she's always been someone I could lean on when I needed to. Someone that always had my back. I went on a crusade to destroy vampires, and I ended up falling in love with one. I guess what Mother said was true. Love will always outweigh hate. To live for thousands of years ahead of your soulmate. I don't know if I would have had the strength to live how she lived. For everything she has been through, and who she has become. I'm proud of the woman I'm with. She's a beacon of light to those in the darkness. Well, we better be off. Need to get to Solitude before the sun's down. Don't want to disappoint Senturos' little girl. Always on the roads. How I dreamed of a life of adventure growing up. Having no idea what fate had installed for me. I wouldn't change it, though. Even if I was doomed to fail. This life, it might have been chosen for me. But the people I've met, and the friends I've made, they have all been worth it. Like Senturos and Sigund, two soldiers from opposite sides of the war. For years they had been killing each other, losing people to each other. And look at them now. It's like the war never happened. Even Cecilia and Topha, the nightingale. When they first met, Cecilia was trying to kill her. But now, years later, they fight side by side each other for the one goal of stopping the dragons. And Tonrak, the companions are all about battle with steel, and magic is for weaklings and all that stuff. But him and Minerva have been close to each other ever since our first time together in Jorvaskr, where steel and magic become one with those two. And Freya. Freya is just so confident. She cares not what people think of her. She just lives her life with a smile on her face and her axe in her hands. Her motto that makes me laugh every time she says it, bandits to behead, ladies to be bed. And Cecilia, how she has done this dance before in a different life. A companion to the last hero of her age, the Holy Crusader who was the champion of the Third Era's last Dragonborn. I'd still rather fight Alduin than her. Even during the day, she fights like she's in a battle against all of existence. By the Nine, imagine if she was Dragonborn. That this entire time she had no idea, even after helping Martin Septim, and comes across a dragon and eats its soul. I'd fear being the World Eater if I was him. And the Daedra follow us. Those ones that follow Cecilia around, they are just asking to be sent back to Oblivion in pieces. And we have Nox, a Dremora who fought in Skyrim during the Oblivion crisis against us, who's been living in Skyrim for 200 years amongst us, and is now willing to fight the dragons so they don't destroy what she has. That's someone I really want to know more about around a warm fire. She was even in Whiterun in its defense against those dragons yesterday. I'm told it's very rare to see a Dremora saving people, even more so if they're not summoned. So she is a rarity indeed. Back in Solitude. Just how I remembered it. Quiet and beautiful. It's always a treat coming back here.
Let's get indoors. Or in a cave. Anywhere, just out of this.
I've never been here before, until I met you at least. I've read stories about the Solitude Windmill, but I didn't expect it to be that big. From the castle, you used to just see a bit of Solitude from over the mountains. It's a different thing entirely to be here yourself. Everything's just so majestic. I hope it all lasts.
Wow, I thought she would have been here hundreds of times. Even more so, it's the closest city to the castle. Being in Skyrim for thousands of years and never being here. Couldn't even imagine that. Guess it might come down to being an immortal. You have all the time in the world to travel, but for those of us alive, we only get so much time to do all of this. Or she stayed in the castle until she was sent out by her father. A lonely existence. I guess her life was solitude. The one place she has never been but always remained. Her entire life before me was solitude. Was I put here to meet her? Or Alduin? Ha! Sounds like I was created to fall in love with an immortal and destroy another. All right, this is Senturos' house. I've only ever been here once. I guess you could say I became a woman here. I wonder what would have happened if Senturos was still here if I woke. Would we have been something serious down the line? And there's the Bard's College, where I studied for a few months on how to use instruments. By the 9, I haven't even played since I left here. Life just took me in another direction. Hunting vampires and dragons. Might go meet this Luca and we'll all head over into the inn. I wonder if Sigund went with Senturos. It'd be good to sit down with the 4 of us.
Welcome, Ragni. It's good to see you again. I'd welcome you to my home, but you've already been.
Listen here, pretty boy. I'm going to slap you around a little if you keep that up.
Pretty boy? Another no hair on my face joke? Great. That's the last thing Sigund needs to hear.
Well, I'd say you look handsome, Senturos. Don't mind Serana. She can be a little jealous. But she knows I love her to Secunda and back. You mentioned Sigund? She came with you? That's great. Where is she?
She's out the back. We had a surprise visitor, one of my own. Marillia Tullius. The one Sigund's sister captured and sent off to Windhelm. The very same one who tortured her sister in the Solitude prisons. Some things were said, and tensions rose.
What? How dare she? She came here to taunt Sigund, to rub salt in the wound of what she did to her sister right in front of Sigund's face. I hope you stood up for her, Senturos. I'm going to Castle Dower. I'm going to have a few words with this Marillia.
Of course I stood up for her. What came out of Marillia's mouth was disgusting. I told her she wasn't welcome, and she stormed off calling me a traitor. I've tried to talk to Sigund, but she told me she wanted to be alone. Maybe you'll have better luck.
Okay, I'll go and talk to her. It might be easier for me, being a woman. I'll be back shortly.
Hopefully you can get through to her. When you're done, I'll let Luca know you're here.
Poor Sigund. Maybe I shouldn't have told her to come here. I should have known better.
Now, I can sense there's some dislike in my direction. And yes, I know why. Look, let's just clear this up while we have this moment. I'm not interested in Ragni. She is yours. What happened back then was a different life. We were just two strangers who had met during a celebration. I think it was because of these weird feelings we had with her, or each other. Before I saw her, I felt alone in the darkness. I felt myself disappear. Then, when she walked past, I felt hope return. I felt like the light had come back. I think that's what drew me to her. Something that foreshadowed all this.
I too had something like that happen to me. I could even feel her before my eyes opened. When I saw her for the first time, I saw freedom. I saw kindness. I saw hope. But I also saw anger and hate. I felt safe around her, even though I was in danger because of her. When I saw her, I saw someone who was pure, who wasn't followed by darkness like me. Someone whose light was so bright that it burned away all the evil in the world. Look, I'm not upset about your first time. I'm upset that you continued to be with her when you joined her in this fight. By then, there was something between us. I'm told you walked to her room naked and, well...
Let me stop you right there. I had no idea who you were when you walked past us. I didn't know you were seeing Ragni, and she never talked about you with any of us. And I didn't force her to do anything. She chose to lie with me. That was her decision. I did have a feeling those nights that there was someone else. She looked sad afterward, like she was regretting it all. But during those times, it was day by day. We didn't know if we were going to be alive the next day. She was scared and felt alone. And since she had been with me before, I brought her some comfort, as she did to me in those times. It was company, a moment to kill the time and not feel alone. That's all it was. As soon as she knew she was going to see you again, she stopped it immediately. It was you she longed to be with those nights. I was only a distraction. Don't get me wrong, I do love Ragni, but not in that way. I would give my life for her in a heartbeat if needed. But you know that. You know she loves you, more than any of us. We are the journey, and you are the final destination. And one last thing. If you're staying for dinner, I'm going to need you to use that mask you vampires use so you don't look, well, like that. I don't need my daughter frightened by a pale, red-eyed vampire.
Okay, Senturos. I shall see to this matter as ended. I do appreciate what you do for her. And yes, I will hide what I am from your daughter. I would rather her be staring at Ragni all night rather than me.
Ah, that is some freaky stuff. It's good we can put this behind us. Now go and take a seat upstairs.
I found Sigund outside deep into the drink, with a face of utter pain. She looked broken, and it scared me because I had always seen Sigund as strong, unwavering, undefeatable. I was able to break through and talk to Sigund. I've always seen her as strong, as an unbreakable wall. But now that wall had collapsed. Everything she had been dealing with, it all came crumbling down. She talked about her sister, how ever since Sigund came back to us in the Dawnguard that her sister Brianna hasn't not once responded to her letters. She talked about the pain of losing her sister, the emptiness she felt after her death, and then getting her back, to lose her again. She talked about how it was her fault what had happened to Brianna, that she was the one Brianna always followed. And leaving her caused her to go out on her own, which led to her battle with Senturos and imprisonment at Marillia's hands. There's so much pain in her heart, and she's carried this for so long. Her confrontation with Marillia today had it all come out. I was there when Marillia was in Windhelm. I was out doing something for the Bard's College, if memory serves me right. I remember all the talk in Windhelm was about an Imperial war criminal in the Blood Pits fighting for her life. I saw her. She was ruthless, and when she looked me in the eyes, I saw pain and fear. All that turned her inside out to what she's become today. And Marillia blames all of it on Brianna and Sigund. Sigund told me she just wanted to be left alone for the night. She was quite upset and had leaned heavy into the meads. It was best she just rested the night. I guess I now better go meet this Luca, and we might all head to the inn and give Sigund the night to herself. Now, as soon as I came back inside, Senturos and Serana were waiting with Luca. When she saw me, her face lit up in utter shock. I was glad to see someone was excited to see me for once. She froze there just looking at me, before she bombarded me with questions about slaying dragons, what gods I worshipped, and when she grows up that she wants to be Skyrim's hero like me. I told her that my main divine was Talos, and she was confused because Talos wasn't allowed. I told her that's true, but we can worship those we like in our hearts. I told her who the true heroes were, like her father, who was the bravest of them all, that she already had a hero at home, that loved her very much and missed her every day he was out there. We stayed for dinner at Senturos' household since his servant had cooked a beautiful feast for us. It was kinda hard to eat, answering all of Luca's questions, but she was very cute. She just wouldn't stop staring at me. She did make a funny comment on Serana's sharp teeth. Senturos almost spat out his wine when she said that. After all the food, we went over to the Winking Skeever to have a few drinks. It's always pleasant sitting down with my closest people. I only wish Sigund was able to come, but she needs some alone time. We drank the remainder of the night away. Freya joined us, and I tried to ask Freya what it was like being raised by Cecilia, but she laughed and said there wasn't enough time in this night to tell such a story. She was more distracted with the wenches walking about than anything else. She told me while Senturos and Sigund were here, Cecilia was in charge of their troops and took them to Fort Harrigstag. I pity them. They might learn to appreciate their enemy commanders sooner or later under the command of Cecilia. But it was getting late and I was quite tired. It was time to rest for the night and see what tomorrow brings. Hopefully tomorrow Sigund is feeling better. I might go and have a word with this Marillia. I know she went through horrible things, but she will not interfere with my people at all.
Well, today has been an eventful day. Walked a Stormcloak into the city, invited her into my home. Almost had a full-on battle inside my house with a woman I cared about with one I do. I wonder how more crazy this could get. I'm just excited to sleep in my own bed for once. What in oblivion? When I arrived home, I found Sigund passed out on the floor, and she made fun of me being a bad guest. Damn it, woman. I might not be able to handle my mead like you, but your emotions and mead do not mix well. Time to get her to bed. Bloody hell. Sigund, are you all right? You need to get up. You can't just sleep here. Come on now, let's get you to bed. Take it easy getting up, okay?
It hurts.
All right, you're up. That's the first bit completed. Now let's get you to your bed. Let's take it easy. We have to make it down the stairs, okay? Okay, just follow me. Be careful. I'll be right in front of you. By the Septims, she's had way too much to drink. What Marillia said to her has really hurt her. I can't believe I didn't even see this. She's always been so stern, so unbreakable. It's what I've liked about her. She's always been herself. But I guess she's just buried it all, and I've been too busy to even see it. Bringing her here wasn't a good idea. If I didn't pressure her into coming, this pain she buried wouldn't have resurfaced. I told her she'd be okay with me around, and I've failed her. She's always had my back, either in a fight or against her own, and I couldn't even protect her against one of mine. Then I just left her here to continue drowning away the pain. I should have stayed. I shouldn't have just gone off like I was back home and everything was normal again. She might be a Stormcloak, but she's braver than any legionary I've fought with. And her heart. I never ever thought I'd see that in a Stormcloak. The idea of it even makes me feel traitorous. But I believe she is fighting for what she believes in. That maybe she has a point. Gods be damned. Why am I thinking like this? The Legion is my blood, is my family. Come on, Sigund, almost there. Okay, take a seat on the bed and I'll get those boots off. She looked horrible. She couldn't even bloody speak properly. She smelt like she had jumped in a river of mead. On the plus note, she can't make fun of me drinking too much anymore. Okay, boots are off. Jump into bed and I'll tuck you in. This wasn't how I'd imagined this would go. Out of nowhere, she just stands up and kisses me. What in the 16 realms of oblivion? All I could taste was mead, but I was in utter shock. Even though it didn't feel right, there was a part of me that enjoyed her touch. Then she just sits back down, smiles, burps, and goes to sleep. What in oblivion just bloody happened? I don't even know what to think of that. Have I crossed the line? Maybe Marillia was right. Maybe I have gone blue. But I trust Sigund with my life. She makes me feel like I'm not alone out there. She's just brave, caring. She has this heart, one filled with compassion, where her soul is as beautiful as she is. When she smiles, it's like the troubles of the world disappear. When her shield is at my back, it makes me feel like there's nothing we couldn't take together. Maybe I've grown too close. Some sleep should clear my head.
Another dream. I thought this would happen here. Always did. That Nord ruin. It was flooded with the undead. And a dragon. And that must have been one of those dragon priests beside it.
Ugh, I feel like Boethiah's arse. Last night is a bit of a blur, but I made a fool out of myself. I should have listened to my gut feeling. It was a really bad idea coming here. What was I thinking? To think I can just walk in without any trouble. I need to leave this place. Head back to my men. The next time I'll see this place will be breaking through the walls. And then I'll pay that bitch Marillia a visit. I need to go find Senturos and let him know I'm leaving. He's up early for once. At least I don't have to wake him up again and he jumps out of bed butt naked.
Sigund, you're up. How are you feeling? Would you like some breakfast?
No, thank you. I'm going to head back to Dragon's Bridge. I don't think it's a good idea to remain here any longer.
I think you're right. I'm terribly sorry, Sigund. I failed you. I said you would be okay with me, but I failed. I hope you can forgive me.
There's nothing to forgive, Senturos. You did look out for me. You stood up against your own for me. I'll never forget that. And my memory is a little fussy, but I can remember you helping me to bed. You looked out for me like you promised. Thank you for being you. I'll always have your back.
And I yours, always. By the way, what do you remember of last night? You mentioned I helped you to bed. Do you remember anything else from last night?
No, I don't. I remember you getting me off the floor and taking me to bed. Nothing else.
Okay then, just an update. All the troops are now stationed at Fort Hragstad, so that's where you should head. Cecilia is looking after them at the moment.
Oh no, I better go and save them. I think after a night with Cecilia, even your legionaries will be excited to see me. And again, thank you, Senturos, for everything. You're truly one of a kind. If only we weren't fighting each other for Skyrim. We could have become the greatest of friends. I realize that I've ignored my better judgment because of Senturos. I've always followed my gut feeling when it comes to life. It's always kept me alive. But I fear I let my heart lead in this one. And I ended up making a fool out of myself, letting Marillia get under my skin. I also remember last night, I kissed him. I know I was drunk, but I still did it. And the thing is, I liked it. I need to take a step back from Senturos. We're getting too close. I know we both dream of peace, but we both know better. One day we'll return to having to kill each other, and how can we do that? If we're... how did it even come to this? When I saw him sitting there in High Hrothgar, I imagined every way I could have possibly killed him. But every chance he got, he did the right thing by me. His enemy. He eventually started treating me with respect. Sure, it was rough at the start. He was very rude. But what would you expect after we'd been killing each other for years? When it was time for there to be peace amongst the Empire and us, he chose to bring me my sister. He didn't have to. He could have just kept it quiet. And even then, I tried to kill him. And even after that, he forgave me. By the 9, Talos, give me guidance. Help me. Help me just walk away.
All right. Time to go let Senturos and Sigund know I've found a word of power. I don't know how they'll react with what I've seen. The dragon part might worry them, but I'll see how this plays out. At least we have a start into the west, and a fort for my people at Hragstad, not to mention an inn nearby and a city. So it should be a better time than in the north. Plus summer is only a day away. The snows have been melting around us for the last week. And the rains have come. So summer already feels like it's here. The beauty of Skyrim. Winter, it's freezing, and in summer, it's wet. But I will admit, it's quite beautiful when it's raining early in the morning. Kinda suits this place. I'm sure Serana doesn't mind that the sun's covered by the clouds. By Talos, I remember the way the day looked as a vampire. Everything was so damn bright, and my skin felt like I was in a cooking pot. On the other side of things, I'll never see the night sky like that ever again. Night was truly beautiful as a vampire. Anyway, I better go inform Sigund and Senturos about my dream. There's Senturos. He looks a little distant? I thought being home would make him happy.
Good to see you. Good morning, ladies. Are we getting ready to move out? Where to next? I've had my time here and you've no doubt done with that vampire castle. What's next?
Well, I've had another one of those dreams showing me a word of power. Where's Sigund, by the way? She should be hearing this.
She's not here anymore. She left 10 minutes before you arrived. She realized that staying here wasn't a good idea. She's gone to Fort Hragstad to take command of the troops.
I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe it wasn't a good idea telling her to come here. I was never part of the war, and I should have realized there's too much blood spilled for this truce to wash away all the hate. Looking at you two get along kind of made me forget that.
Yeah. It kind of made us forget that too. Coming here reminded us why. Anyway, what was this dream about?
Well, it was a word of power, on top of a Nord ruin here somewhere in the west. It kind of sat on a mountain. I saw an army of the undead, and a dragon with what I believe was one of those dragon priests Minerva and Tonrak have seen beside the dragon on top of the mountain, beside the word of power.
Okay then. If there's a dragon involved and one of these priests and a large force of their ancient servants, we're going to need everyone to hear this, and then we need to scout it out and prepare. None of this just walk into it stuff. We need to be prepared. Let's get moving to Fort Hragstad and inform everyone else so we can start planning this. I'm ready to set out.
Okay, we're ready to head off. Let's get a move on to the fort. You lead and we'll follow.
The Dragonborn has had another dream of these words of power she needs. It seems her dreams are becoming clearer. I think I have an idea of why. But now we need to meet the others and plan for reaching this word of power. I'm just glad she's allowing us to plan this, though, instead of walking blindly into it. She's learning. There's hope for her yet.
Hello guys, and I hope you've enjoyed episode 7. Now, again, this is very different for me when it comes to telling this story because it's full-on character involvement. It's no traveling around Skyrim, killing dragons, losing people. It's two characters kind of coming together and being woken up from their dream. Now there will be a sort of behind-the-scenes video, background sort of stuff coming out after this. It should be up on the end screen at the end of this video. That sort of thing. You know, as storytellers, we really love sharing these things that we've created in our heads, in our hearts, and transferring it to your eyes and hopefully to your soul. This is the one thing we love doing. The one thing, the satisfaction we get out of this is your enjoyment from these sort of things, and even your criticisms if you don't like something. So, again, if you liked it, let me know. If you didn't, also let me know. There's some things I'd like to, because this is the very first chapter of mine, or episode, where I've ever really just dived head into the characters and stayed there with them. So it's always interesting to hear what people have to say about this and what they think. Other than that, there should be the videos up on the end screen with the background video and the playlist, and subscribe if you want. If not, don't even worry about it, man. It's all cool. Other than that, I'm going to see you guys in the next video, and cheers for watching. Look after yourselves.